This program is made possible in part by a production grant from Phillips Buick GMC.
Want to save money servicing your vehicle? Visit Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer. For oil changes, tire repairs, or maintenance, you get more than fast, reliable service. You get fair pricing and quality work done the first time by factory-trained technicians you can trust. And with 48 service bays, no appointments are necessary. Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer, just south of the Villages.
Welcome to the Leesburg High Sports Buzz Show. I'm your host, Ashley Hunt. I'm here with the head coach of the Jackets, Randy Trivers. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great, Ashley. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Coach, last week the Jackets had a great 50-26 victory over the Lake Minneola Hawks. It was a night where it looked like we weren't maybe even going to be able to play because of the weather, but the clouds parted ways, and it was a great night for football. It was actually homecoming for the Hawks, and it was a key district matchup for the Jackets as well. Before we get into the highlights of the game, I wanted you to real fast tell the viewers out there exactly where we stand in the district now and what we had to look forward to.
Yeah, well, we're 4-2 overall, and we're 1-1 in the district. So we knew this game against Lake Minneola was going to be a critical game for us, knowing that a year before we were 8-2 with our 2 losses being district losses and not able to get us into the playoffs there. So we knew with the close loss to East Ridge in overtime, 49-48. We needed to make sure that we handled our business against Lake Minneola, and we were fortunately able to do that on Friday.
Well, Leesburg gets the ball to start the game. Unfortunately, turned the ball over on a fumble on a run there, and Lake Minneola gets the ball back. However, Leesburg is able to bow their back and force the Hawks to punt the ball. But it was really the second possession in the first quarter by the Jackets where they started firing on all cylinders. Yeah,
it was important for us going into this game. We really wanted to start fast offensively and get into a rhythm because the week before we had no offensive plays in the first quarter. St. Cloud did a great job of hanging on to the football. But as you see right here, Brian Benton catching a screen pass from Andre Mitchum, doing a nice job, making a nifty run after the catch. And then there he is right there making a nice move on the safety there and getting in the end zone untouched. So it was nice to see us really, despite the turnover, the early turnover that we had, really start to really get it going and get into a flow offensively.
So with about 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, the Jackets are up 7-0. Lake Minneola gets the ball back, and once again the Jackets are playing great defensively. However, were unable to get off the field as soon as they could have because of a roughing the punter call.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, the roughing the punter call. And we've had, this year, it's kind of been our story in the first 6 games. We've had some penalties and some mistakes that we're making, whether it be turnovers or penalties that have been costly. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, and we've got to do a better job of minimizing those mistakes so that we can win some more football games.
Lake Minneola is unable to capitalize on that roughing the punter call. They end up actually turning the ball over on a fumble. It was a huge turnover in the first quarter, and the Jackets ended up getting the ball back with about 2 minutes left in the quarter.
Yeah, there you see Chandler Strong on a forced fumble there, and Jordan Tucker, I believe, on the recovery.
So the Jackets get the ball back with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Not able to do much on offense. Punt the ball away. Austin Walker actually made a heck of a play. Unlike last week where he tried to tuck the ball and run with it, you must have coached him up some, and he actually was able to run out to his right and do a rugby-style kick. Ultimately, Lake Minneola gets the ball back basically to start the second quarter. And it was in the second quarter to where Lake Minneola was ultimately able to tie the game up. After a nice play by the big fella, Andre Alexander, who happens to be a crowd favorite, Lake Minneola was able to score on a screen pass on the left side.
Yeah, Lake Minneola, we were concerned about them going into the game, some of their big play capability, and sure enough, they were able to strike and get in the end zone on us. We were just fortunate to be able to limit the amount of times they were able to do that.
So with about 9 minutes and 38 seconds left in the second quarter, game's all tied up. And you wonder as a coach, I'm sure, how your boys are going to react to giving up that huge play on the road in an adverse situation, and we had a lot of Yellow Jacket fans there, but obviously it was homecoming and Lake Minneola had a few more. But you wonder how they're going to react, and I expect that you couldn't have wished for anything better than what happened.
Yeah, I really liked the way our guys responded. Our players did a very nice job maintaining their poise and continuing to believe in themselves. And that's something that I think we've done a good job this year. We've been behind in certain situations or in some close games, and our guys have continued to fight in our football games. I think that's a great quality, a great trait, and something that'll have us battle tested for the second half of the season, which of course, Friday was the first game of the second half of the season there.
So Bennett with the huge run that we just saw, and we were ultimately able to punch the ball in after 4 tries there on the goal line. But Leesburg goes up 14-7. There's about 6 minutes left in the quarter, and Lake Minneola gets the ball back. And it's at that point where we had one of the better defensive possessions of the night. Jordan Tucker had a couple of huge plays getting his hands on the ball, and ultimately we were able to pick the ball up and score a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, and it's always a very, very strong thing when you can score on defense. I mean, we love to be able to stop them, make them punt, but if you can stop them and also get some takeaways and certainly convert a takeaway to a touchdown, as you see right there is Jermaine Gadsden doing a nice job of breaking it up and getting on the receiver, and then Demetric Blue making a very, very nice catch off the tip and taking it in for 6 points.
And I tell you what, it's always the guys that score the touchdowns that get the credit, but on that play in particular, I was impressed by Nappy, number 41's effort, was able to get some pressure on the quarterback to make it difficult for him to for the quarterback to throw the ball, which actually ultimately set up the touchdown.
No question. It takes 11. It takes 11 guys doing their job to make big plays like that happen.
So Lake Minneola gets the ball back, down 21-7 with about 5 minutes and 43 seconds left in the second quarter. And once again, the Jackets come out defensively and are able to, I don't know if it was a 3-and-out possession. I believe it was a 3-and-out possession where the Jackets were able to answer and keep that momentum going. Jordan Tucker had a couple of or at least one block past that possession, and defensively we're once again not skipping a beat.
Yeah, Jordan's done a nice job this year of timing those things out. He's got very, very good instincts, and as you see right there, as he's rushing the passer, he's coming in for the sack, but you notice he may not get there in time, ball being released, and he does a great job, what we call mirroring the throwing hand and getting up and batting that ball down. That's something that we definitely emphasize, and he's done well with.
So Lake Mary punts the ball away to the Jackets, and it's on the next possession, which wasn't one to brag about from an offensive standpoint. We turned the ball over, but if you're going to make something positive out of the negative, there was a heck of a play by Mitchum to save a touchdown.
Yeah, well, we never like to turn it over, but certainly, it was a very great finish by our offensive players, because, when you have something like that happen, a catastrophic play, you can hang your head and just, let a guy score. You don't want to make a bad situation worse, and in that situation, Mitchum and who you mentioned, and also you see a lot of the linemen and receivers really, really hustling to try to make the tackle, which obviously saves us field position and an immediate touchdown.
So with a few minutes left in the half, unlike last week where we have a game to where St. Cloud, the style of offense that they ran, it was going to be difficult for them to get back and score many touchdowns just because of the game plan that they had in place. Lake Minneola was more of a quick strike type offense. Jackets are up 21-7 at that point, and you got to think that if the Jackets can hold Lake Minneola at the end of the half and keep the score at 21-7 going into halftime, you've got to feel good about where you are at that point in time in the game. Unfortunately, Lake Minneola was able to get a quick score there right at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and we knew going in they're a team that can strike and strike fast. With the type of athletes they have, they're a very, very dangerous offensive football team. So, like I said, we were fortunate to be able to limit the amount of times that they were able to make those big plays, but they did make one there before the half.
So at halftime, Leesburg goes into the locker room 21-14. It was one of those weeks just like last week where the halftime was longer than normal because of the homecoming festivities, and you hope that you can keep, I'm sure, the players' attention during that amount of time. But to start the second half, Lake Minneola gets the ball back on the very first drive, and it couldn't have gone any better for the Jackets. The Jackets go 3-and-out, force a punt. Lake Minneola ends up snapping the ball over their punter's head, and I believe it was
Jordan Tucker on the recovery.
Jordan Tucker on the recovery, and it actually ended up resulting in a touchdown. So right off the bat, without even having an offensive possession, Leesburg's up 28-14 with about 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Next possession, Lake Minneola gets the ball. They're actually able to answer, and they come back down and score a touchdown. A pretty methodical drive to tie the game back up to 28-20. Unfortunately for them, they missed the PAT.
Right. Which is always a big thing. When the defense gets, unfortunately, sometimes the defense is going to get scored on, but we always want our guys to be motivated on that PAT to go get it, because as you know, football games, that 1 point or 2 points could make a difference in the end, as we know from earlier this year.
The next drive, actually, I believe, was that the onside kick at that point in time, or was it?
I don't recall. I
don't think it was the onside kick. I think actually Leesburg got the ball, went 3 and out. Lake Minneola gets the ball back, and it was at that point in time when Austin Walker comes and makes, I'm positive, makes the heads-up play and is able to recover the fumble and get the Jackets the ball back.
Yeah, Austin has done a nice job this year. He's just an instinctive player, has a knack for coming up with those balls, and I think this may be the play right here. Yep, there it is right there. It's a knack just exploding to that football right there and taking advantage of a mistake that they made with the center and quarterback exchange.
And actually, I stand corrected. I looked at my notes, and that was actually the possession where they had the little onside kick. Yep. From my vantage, it looked like the ball didn't quite make it 10 yards. I don't know if you've had the benefit of watching the game film back and if it actually made it to 10 yards and was a well-executed play, but it didn't look like it did.
Close. Really close. Yeah.
Regardless, it's the way that it was called, so that's the way the ball bounces.
Yep.
So Leesburg's not able to do much on the next possession. Actually, for the next few possessions, the ball, neither team was able to do much with the ball. Leesburg ultimately gets the ball back with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Was able to pick up a couple of big first downs, and this is a key possession to me. This is the one where Brian Jefferson had the huge fourth down catch, and like we talked about before, based on the way that this game was going, the quick strike capabilities of Lake Minneola, at that point in time, I believe the score is 28-20. So it's a one-possession game, really. I mean, it's a one score. They score, they get a 2-point conversion, they're right back tying the game up. And the Jackets are able to keep the ball alive on a huge fourth down conversion. Yeah,
there you see right there, Andre Mitchum doing a great job of standing tall in the pocket, stepping up and really firing that ball into the hands of Brian Jefferson, who ran a great route. Came back to it, and those guys have made a nice, reliable combination for us this year. So ultimately, a few plays thereafter capped off by a Benton 4-yard touchdown run. Jackets had the lead 36-20, and just like we said, it could have gone either way on that fourth down conversion. The fourth down conversion, the risk that you took in doing that ended up paying dividends. We've got a comfortable 2-touchdown lead. At that point, Lake Minneola gets the ball back. And once again, there's a great defensive stance by the Jackets, which is capped off by an interception. Yeah, that's a nice pass breakup there by Austin Walker, a near interception. And here, for a second interception of the day, I believe it's coming up here, is Demetric Blue off another tip ball. Demetric doing a great job of taking advantage of a mistake in the defense there, getting a another big turnover.
So unlike Lake Minneola on a couple of the prior possessions where they were able to get takeaways, not prior possessions, but earlier in the game where they were able to get big takeaways but not capitalize, the Jackets get the ball back after a nice catch by Falconer. Were able to drive the ball downfield, and ultimately Benton scored a 22-yard touchdown to bring the score to Leesburg 43, Lake Minneola 20.
Yeah, there's Brian Benton off tackle, blocked up really well. Astada Maripa's coming around pulling, and you had Lee Bennett with a great kick-out block, and then Benton hitting the hole and seeing it as closed up, making a nice little jump cut, and then exploding, accelerating to the end zone. Very nice play for our offense there.
So Lake Minneola gets the ball back, 8:51 left in the fourth, I believe, at that point. and backs against the wall, have to try to make something big happen. At that point in time, I think they're trying to play somewhat of a field position game because of the strict quick strike capabilities. I think they have the ability to maybe play the field position and get the ball back and capitalize. But the Jackets come through, a host of Jackets. I'm not even sure who blocked it, but there were 4 or 5 of them there that were able to get their hands on the ball, block the punt, and ultimately to get the ball on the 1-yard line, and was capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, that was Jermaine Gaston on the block, I believe, on that, and so that was a huge play right there that you're seeing there. Yeah, it's Jermaine Gaston on the block, and before that, Austin Nappy with a sack.
So with about 7 minutes left in the game, the score is Leesburg 50, Lake Minneola 20, and just like we said a couple possessions ago, this was a close ball game. And when you look at that stat line, 50-20. It doesn't seem that close, but up until the fourth quarter, it was really, I don't want to call it a nail-biter, but it was a close game that could have went either way. Fortunately for the Jackets, they were able to come up with a victory at the end of the game. Another, on the ensuing kickoff, another great kick by the kicker. It wasn't quite as good as the one before, but once again, a heck of a leg. I've been impressed by him all year long. Minneola gets the ball back. They're able to actually punch the ball in, and pretty much the end of the night, as far as scoring is concerned, Lake Minneola scores to take their score to, I believe it was 26 to 50. A couple of great defensive stances there by the Jackets.
Yeah, there you see there, you saw the previous play, a nice defensive play, and then here, that's Trayvon Johnson with a nifty run there towards the end of the game. So, like you said, yeah, 50-30, or 50-20, we're up 30 points at one point. It seemed, if you were just looking at the score, that maybe it was a blowout, but really it was definitely a competitive and close ball game, for the most part. But it was nice for us to open it up there in the fourth quarter and really get an opportunity for the majority of our players, vast majority of our players, to get in that ball game and contribute there before the clock ticked down to 0.
So huge win, district win for the Jackets. You have to be feeling pretty good about the prospects. I know that next week we're going to get into a non-district matchup against a team that's been nationally recognized, and we'll get there in a few minutes. But first, you brought a couple of players here with you today. Can you tell us a little bit about who you brought?
Yeah, we've got Jordan Tucker here today, who's a senior defensive end. Jordan has also played a little offense for us too at fullback, and he is a great representative of our program. Fine young man, does a good job in the classroom, and has been really a standout for us this year on the football field. And then we also have Bryant Benton, who's here, and Bryant's a junior, and he's a running back, and he has been a highly productive football player for us, our leading rusher this year thus far, and also catches a lot of balls as well. I think he's our third leading receiver when it comes to catches and yardage. So he's been highly productive. And Brian also is another guy that's a high-character young man that does a great job in the classroom. Both these guys are fine representatives of our program, and we're really proud of them, not just for what they do on the field, but off the field as well.
All right, Coach, well, we're going to get to the players for a few minutes here, and we'll be back with you to look forward to next week's game against the Fort Lauderdale University High School. All right, we're back with Bryant Benton, number 23 for the Yellow Jackets, a junior star running back. How you doing, Bryant?
I'm doing fine.
Well, you had a heck of a game last week, as you've had in the prior weeks, but last week in particular, I think you had approximately 15 carries for 160-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 huge receptions for over 200 yards of total offense. How'd you feel about that performance?
I felt great about it. I felt I did my job as a teammate, helped my game, helped the team to a great success.
Well, you're a guy that, you and I chatted a little earlier, you're a guy that didn't start playing football until the 9th grade. Did you have any other sports or activities you participated in prior to that?
Yeah, I played basketball in middle school for Carver Middle School.
Carver, Red Raiders, right?
Yes, sir.
That's where I went to middle school. So you're a converted running back. You played DB for the first 3 or so years of your high school career?
Yes, sir.
And who is your running back coach?
Coach Spraga.
Coach
Spraga.
And he do a pretty good job?
Yes, sir.
And what in particular do you like about playing running back?
I would have to say the O-line, just having a bond with the O-line.
Well, we hit on it every week. Those guys are the guys that do all the dirty work and don't get much credit. You know, we read the newspaper on Saturday morning and it says Benton scores 3 touchdowns. It doesn't talk about the guys that are down there bleeding and sweating in the trenches down there. But I'm sure as a running back, you greatly appreciate them.
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
And you're a junior this year. You're a pretty good student.
Yes, sir.
Any subjects in particular at school that you like?
I would have to say social studies and science.
So, and you kid that grew up in Leesburg, kind of coming up through the ranks and knew of the Jackets growing up as a child?
Yes, sir.
That's great to see, you know, you guys coming up. I'm sure as a kid you watched many Yellow Jackets games, both basketball and football, and now to see you coming through the ranks and doing good things, and Coach Shriver saying how, you know, the thing that I'm impressed by is not how good of a football player you are, but how good of a person and student you are. Coach Shriver's always emphasizes that, and he has had nothing but great things the past 4 or 5 weeks to say about you. Well, Brian, I appreciate it. It was nice to have you here on the show. We'll look forward to interviewing you this week on the radio show at Ramshackles at 7:30 this week, and we look forward to going out and getting a good victory against the University High School.
All right.
Thank you. We're back with Jordan Tucker, standout defensive end for the Yellow Jackets. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing fine.
Well, you've had a heck of a season.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many sacks you're up to this year?
I think I'm up to about 12.
12 sacks. That's definitely a heck of a stat line. I know last week in particular you had 2 or 3 block passes, a couple of key pressures, and you had that big recovery on the fumble there near the end zone.
Yes, sir.
And Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself. You play defensive end. You like playing defensive end?
Yes, sir. I like playing it.
What do you like about defensive end?
Rushing the passer. I like that the most.
And what's the kind of your height and weight and all that kind of stuff for the fans out there that maybe don't get a chance to ask you those kind of questions?
I'm about 6'2", 203.
6'2" and 203, and you came in today with your sleeves extra tight so you could show off those guns. You don't have measurements on those things, do you?
Nah.
So you're a Leesburg kid, born and raised in Leesburg, right?
Yes, sir.
Came up through the Junior Jacket program?
Yes, sir.
And your father's a pretty involved football coach. What's your father's name?
Desmond Harris.
And has he coached you growing up as a child?
Yes, sir.
And up through the Junior Jacket program, are you somebody that strived to one day be in those bright lights on Friday night at Leesburg High School?
Yes, sir.
And the defensive end coach for the Jackets, who's that?
Coach High and Coach Eichenhorst.
What can you tell us about them?
They're good coaches.
Good coaches?
Yes, sir.
Got you coached up pretty well, obviously, because you're out there making big plays. Pretty good student?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of GPA do you have?
I have a 2.8 GPA.
Tell us a little bit about the kind of classes you like and the interests that you have.
I mostly like my math class. I like math a lot. And when you mean interests, what do you mean by interests?
Just interest in general. I know that you're a senior this year, and obviously you're looking at hopefully getting on a football field somewhere next year, and you're still working on that. But looking forward to what you might want to major in college. It's just in general academic interests that you have.
Oh, well, I want to major in physical therapy. Yes, sir.
Great profession to be in. Last week was a homecoming game for the Lake Minneola Hawks, and I know the week prior we had the homecoming game for Leesburg, and I had a chance to see you riding down the float in the parade and throwing out footballs and doing those types of things. Did you enjoy that?
Yes, sir.
Did you enjoy the festivities that led up? Tell us a little bit about what happened last week at the school. I know that you guys love to see the kids and the fans all come up, but what, leading up to those to the homecoming game, what types of things did you guys do to get ready, both on and off the field?
On the field, we had to make sure we stayed focused because there is a lot of distractions. So we just practiced hard with the distractions.
And then the distractions were what?
The homecoming dance, a lot of different festivities during school.
I'm going to put you on the spot in front of the whole Lake County. Did you have a date for the dance?
I didn't go to the dance.
Oh, no. Wrong answer. Well, Jordan, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show today. It was great to see you. I know I've interviewed you a couple times in the past, and you're certainly a class act. We look forward to you going out and having another big game against University High School, and hopefully a recap when we come back to talk about Jordan Tucker and the highlights.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach. Well, that was certainly a pleasure. Those guys are first-class citizens, great athletes, but better people.
Absolutely, and that's what we try try to really bring forward in these young men. We want to develop them as people.
So, Coach, real fast before we get into this week's matchup, a lot of the viewers out there, you know, they see us on TV and they see the highlights and whatnot, but there's actually a show that we do on Wednesday nights as well, a coach's show. The community is very involved. It's at Ramshackle Cafe every Wednesday at 7:30. It's been fun to see it kind of evolve into a community event to where we have, you know, quite a few followers in there watching your radio show be taped as well.
Yeah, it's something we enjoy doing, and it's a great opportunity for the players, the community, and of course Ramshackle Cafe, and for us to be there, and you know, just great things happening for the Leesburg Yellow Jacket football program, and it takes a community to do that. So it's nice to be able to have everybody putting their thoughts together to have an event such as that.
So, Coach, this week we've got Fort Lauderdale University. As I mentioned before, they're a team that comes in highly esteemed, nationally recognized. What can you tell us about them?
Well, I mean, this is about as good a team as you'll see in high school football, and not just in Lake County, not just in the state of Florida, but in the country. I mean, they're as good as it gets, and they have, you know, very, very fine football players, highly recruited football players. They've got speed, they've got size, they've got skill. They're well coached. There's really nothing that you could say that's really a negative about this football team. So we're excited. We're excited to be able to play them and face them and compete and go out and. If you want to be the best, you got to go out and compete and beat the best. You know, so we're excited to have University come in to Leesburg, and we feel like we're gonna have a great game plan, and we're gonna go get them.
Well, Coach, as always, it was a pleasure being here with you. We look forward to coming back next week and speaking with you. We'd like to let all the viewers out there know we'll be back at the same time, same place to recap the game, and we look forward to an eventful show. This program is made possible in part by a production grant from Phillips Buick GMC.
Want to save money servicing your vehicle? Visit Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer. For oil changes, tire repairs, or maintenance, you get more than fast, reliable service. You get fair pricing and quality work done the first time by factory-trained technicians you can trust. And with 48 service bays, no appointments are necessary. Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer, just south of the Villages.